Going dry in RuneScape 3 is a pain in the ass. It is something that happened to me recently. I went around about 4 months without getting a single drop in PVM, and it wasn't fun. I got my Staff of Armadillo, and then I went broke for 4 months straight. And dry at so many bosses that it's unreal. I got to the point where I was over 670 kills dry at Karapak hard mode. I am still dry here, over 700 kills now. And I also went over 150 kills dry at ED3. I then went a few hundred kills dry at Raksha. I didn't get anything from Solak. You can see where this is going. I went a lot of places, didn't see a good drop, like an actual big, decent drop from anywhere in months. Money making can take a long time to do, and it can be a frustrating experience if you get something to happen like what happened with me. That dry streak is broken now, but I didn't get fed up or burnt out or annoyed or frustrated through that whole experience. And I'm going to explain in this video how you can personally improve your money making experiences in this game as well. Not necessarily increasing your profits, but absolutely things that you can do to increase your enjoyment. This is a game at the end of the day, you guys should be enjoying it, and if you are not because you're getting frustrated at the RNG that you sometimes get, then maybe these are some things that will help you out. Anyway, if this does help, do leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. I got this requested by God knows how many people while I was going dry, so I think it's time now that it is done and over with for me to make this video. Let's talk about this. So being a YouTuber in RuneScape, you have to play the game a bit differently than other people, or at least I do, because I'm constantly making content, and whenever I'm playing the game, I always think to myself, what can I do to make, like while I'm playing the game, to make more content with? So that is something that actually helps out a hell of a lot with not giving up on the grind, and what keeps me motivated to keep doing the same things over and over again, because it's content, and as long as I do it in the right way, it is always enjoyable, and it is always something that will pay off in the long run. So that is what I'm going to talk about first, and something that is kind of a big point that kind of would carry along to you guys, and there's no reason that you can't do it either. While it won't have the same effect, like you won't be getting paid to do this like I am, you will still have the same sort of enjoyment from the game out of it, because there's still a lot more enjoyment from playing in this way than playing the regular way, which is, look, I've got an aura, let's do an hour of this boss, look, I've got another aura, let's just do another hour, and it kind of gets a little bit boring and stale that way, right? So let's talk about that first, and there'll be a few points in here as well probably that will match up with this same sort of thinking. So first of all, like I say, I constantly have to think about what I'm doing next in terms of content and what I'm recording to make sure my time isn't wasted. I have limited time playing the game, but that is kind of a good thing in my situation, because when I am doing this, I'm always thinking of something enjoyable for you guys to watch. If it's enjoyable for you to watch, there's a good chance that it's going to be enjoyable for me to do, because why would you want to watch something that is boring as hell for me to do? If I have to go and just do the same thing, if I did Next for 10 hours straight, how many of you guys would want to watch a 10-hour stream of Next? You just wouldn't. It's not really something you want to do. Some of you probably sat there thinking, I would watch that. I would probably watch that. You probably would watch some of it. You would probably watch some of it. You would get bored of it very quickly though, and then eventually you would feel that grind. If you had to sit and watch the whole 10 hours, you would then be thinking by the 2-hour mark, 3-hour mark, holy crap, this is mind numbing, and imagine not getting a drop for that whole 10 hours. So the way that I go about making sure that when I'm streaming, you guys have some more enjoyment out of it and a reason to watch is having a short-term goal that we are going to obtain or not obtain because we failed during that stream. So kind of like a challenge, I guess, whereas, for example, on the streams, I will do things like how much money can I make in 2 hours, and then can I give this money to someone else to help them out on their PVM adventure. You guys have seen these videos, you guys have seen the streams if you watch the streams, and these are something I do quite a bit. The reason I include that in there is not just because I just want to do 2 hours of PVM. That's kind of like the whole point. I wanted to stream, do a bit of PVM, right? But it makes it more enjoyable because people are sat waiting to see how much money am I going to make this time, and I can keep doing that same thing again and again, and it doesn't really get old because it's different every time. I can do the same bosses, but I'm going to get a different amount of luck, I'm going to get different money at the end of it, and then you can see how much money I can actually give away by the end of that time that it comes. So it's important for you guys personally to have short-term achievable goals as well. If you have set yourself a goal of best in slot magic with a Staff of Armadillo as well, that's going to be like 12 billion GP that you need. On top of my head, I think Staff's like 5 bill, Tectonic's like 1.2, Prayer Souls are like 2 point something bill each, and then you've got all the perks and you've got all the other stuff as well. It's expensive, it's a lot of money. Having that as your end game goal and your only goal is going to be a long way off, and it's going to make the grind feel so far. Even if you get one of your items, you're going to think, shit, I still got like 9 items to do, and it's going to make you burn out very quickly. So set yourself different goals along the way, even write them down and tick them off as you're playing along, and that way it feels like you're actually working towards the goal that you're getting towards, and it is a lot more enjoyable, and you can sort of look forward to it. Then you can also do things like what I do on stream as well, and set yourself up to try and do things like how quickly can I get a 100 scale drop at ED1? How quickly could I get myself a Raksha drop? I wonder how long it's going to take me to get one of each of the codexes from ED2. Rather than looking forward to, I need to have 5 billion GP to get my staff, then you can actually change that around and say, right, I'm going to get 100 scale drop at ED1, and then I want to go ahead and get any drop from Raksha, whether it's boots or anything at all, and then once I've got that, I'm going to go and do ED2 and get one of each of the codexes there, and then once I've done that, I'm going to mix it up and go somewhere else. It is important to do this because it gives you that dopamine hit every now and again, more often than you just going, I finally got my Staff of Armadillo, which was 5 billion GP, which took me about 10 different drops from different bosses, and trust me, that makes a big difference. So the first thing, like I say, is to set yourself up in a way that you're sort of setting goals short term, not just long term, and make sure the things that you're going to look forward to, and you can see the difference in them each and every time you do it. So if you go to ED1, you've got the excitement every time of, is this going to be my over 100 scale drop, or you could even do 50 scales or whatever, and then after that you could then go to ED2 and go, right, I finally got this codex, I only need this one left, and that's what every single time you do that, you're going to get excited for that boss. Whether it's the middle boss, the first boss, or the last boss would depend on your RNG, but you will get excited every time you go and kill that boss, because you're like, is this going to be the one? Is this going to be the time that I get it done? And once that's done, stop doing ED2. Just come back to it later on. Go and do something else. That leads us into the next point that I'm going to make. Okay, so the next one is something that I tested out on stream a little while ago, and it was actually really enjoyable to do. While it can be a little bit unorganized and a bit like messy here and there, it is definitely something that is a lot of fun, and organized properly could be incredibly fun to do. And I'm going to be doing this in the future and doing this on stream to test out again and see if I can make it better, and then build little plans around it and sort of pass it on to you guys. But basically what I'm talking about is, we at the moment stick to bosses in hour slots. We will do an aura and we will commit to that boss for an hour. Doing Raksha for an hour, if you have 3-minute kills or 3.5-minute kills, can be incredibly repetitive. Now, I don't know about you guys, but when you're doing the same thing for an hour straight, 3.5 minutes, kill the boss, teleport out, kill the boss, teleport out, kill the boss, teleport out, and it's not a new boss for you because you've done 1,000 kills already, yes, this could be incredibly boring. This doesn't apply only to people who have done 1,000 kills though. You should do this from the beginning if it's something that you personally find you would enjoy more. I am going to start probably changing up how I do PvM a little bit if I do actually plan all this out and work it out. And what I would suggest you do, or try out at least, is if you're using magic at Raksha, and you are on the Maniacal Aura, you're using a Calgarian Demon, and you are committed to an hour of using magic. Don't look at it as I have to do an hour of Raksha, because you don't have to do an hour of Raksha. Look at it as you have to do an hour of magic. You're on a Maniacal Aura, you've committed to the hour. You can take that magic wherever the hell you want though. You could go and do Raksha for 10 minutes, then you could go do Karapak hard mode for 10 minutes or 3 kills or whatever, and then you could head off somewhere else and do, for example, an ED3 run. So you could do 10 minutes of 20 minutes of Raksha, go to Karapak for another 20 minutes, and then go and do 20 minutes at ED3. That way, out of that 1 hour that you've just done with the Maniacal Aura, you don't need to worry about going to a different boss where you're using range. Of course, you have to stick to magic because you're on Aura. You could then mix it up and you've just done 3 different bosses in that hour. Yes, you haven't pushed out your kill count at Raksha as much, but there's nothing to say that you will not get a drop at ED3 and not Raksha, or a drop at Karapak and not Raksha, or anything like that. But by the end of the hour, holy crap, for me personally, this was so much more enjoyable. And as long as you don't make it in a way that it's a lot of changing around presets and managing auras and all that sort of stuff, then it's definitely not something that's too hard to do and doesn't take away from it all that much. What I was talking about before is saying it's a little bit awkward, can be messy, is if you decide to do something like, I'm going to do Raksha, and then I'm going to do Nex, and then I'm going to go do Arc Glacier, and then I'm going to go do something else. You start juggling things like presets and keybinds and all that sort of stuff, and you kind of want to use range at Nex, so you can't really do Nex. So as long as you set like maybe 3 bosses, 4 bosses to jump between, depending on your combat style, and make sure that the aura that you're using is going to be great there, then you won't run into any issues and it'll be absolutely fine. So this is the mistake that I made when I did this on stream, and I will suggest that if you can, then do something like doing Raksha, Karapak, and ED3, which are all done with magic or all done with range if you use range, and just stick to those bosses that fit nicely, so you can just do the 20 minutes of Raksha and then go to wars, just quickly change your preset to your ED3 preset, go to ED3 for 1 run, go back to wars, load your Karapak preset, and go straight in without worrying about it and changing all your keybinds and stuff around, and you'll be absolutely fine. This makes it a lot more enjoyable, and I would recommend that people do try this out. And I'm going to be doing this, and I'll make a video on it as well, maybe with a few plans of which bosses work and which are kind of organized and stuff and make sense to do next, and just see how people receive it. But if you do this, let me know in the comments. If anyone's doing this now, let me know as well. Actually, I'm interested in knowing about that. When I did it on stream, people were saying like, actually, why do we do this? Why do we we always stick to auras for an hour? It makes sense, right? I'm going to do an hour of Raksha because it's an hour-long aura. But it is literally auras. Instances are set to hours as well, and there's just no reason to. The instance for Karapak is free. The instance for Raksha is free, and the instance for an ED3 or any elite dungeon is free. The only bosses that cost stuff nowadays really are the older ones like Nex and stuff, and even then it's not that bad. Like Nex is the only expensive instance really that I can think of where I would kind of think I should probably just commit to this hour because it was like 800k or whatever to start this instance. Another thing you can do to make sure that you are having a lot of fun is challenge friends to join you along the way. Now, not necessarily just saying, oh, let's do some duo PVM or trio PVM or even group PVM. What I'm talking about is, for example, you could challenge a friend that you play with or talk to quite a bit to, I don't know, 5 hours of seeing who can make the most money. And then at the end of that, you don't have to give each other the money or anything like you would see RuneScape YouTubers do. You could do other things like, I don't know, one person has to keepsake a stupid item, or one person has to wear a ridiculous override for a month, or one person has to use their free name change each month to set their name to something stupid. Doing these sort of things will just add extra enjoyment when you're actually going along and making the money, and that's absolutely fine. It just gives you that bit of extra motivation and drive, and these are all things that you can personally just do nice and easily. Just message one of your friends later on and say, look, I'm dry at this boss for ages. I'm getting fed up of doing all the PVM and grinding for money. Let's forget about the actual drops and let's make something else fun and enjoyable to do with it. So let's do the next 5 to 10 hours, or even if you're really wanting to go for it, the next person for 7 days, the next 7 days, who can make the most money in that time? And then if not, the other person has to wear a stupid override and change their name to something ridiculous like Init. Then if you really want to get creative, you could even do something like testing out loads of different familiars. You could try using a Hellhound, maybe a Raksha. You could try using, I don't know, the Blood Reaver at certain places when you maybe don't normally do that. Or you could try doing things like coming off of a yak, just trying different things out. And if you get a 4-minute kill instead of a 3-minute kill, does it really matter when it's just for that little time that you're mixing up a bit and trying out some new things to enjoy yourself? Basically, the overall message to this is stop focusing on just making money and try and add other things in there for you to enjoy. Basically, when I went 4 months dry, was fed up of money making. I was burned out of money making. I was fed up of trying to like push my bank forward and stuff, but I wasn't doing it for that. The reason I still enjoyed the game and I still enjoyed what I was doing is because I was doing other things. I wasn't making money overall. I was trying to do that, but I was focusing on my 2 hours of PVMs so that I could give the money to some other people to help them out, or I was focusing on doing like challenges or making content, and that's what kept it fun. It was doing other things. It wasn't just thinking, oh, you know what, I've not made any money yet, I've not got my goal done yet, but I have had a lot of fun. I have done all this, I have done all that, and just constantly making things for myself to enjoy in game. Stop focusing on just making money, focus on other things and make things and ideas and plans that will end up making you money in the long run anyway. Like if I do this 2-hour in PVM thing, if I get a Staff of Armadillo drop or a Fractured Staff piece or whatever it is at Karapak, I'm not going to give the whole 1.5 bill away or whatever it is at the moment to a random noob. I'll still give them 100 mil, or I'll split 100 mil between other people, but I still would be up by something like 1.4 bill, 1.3 bill, whatever it is at the moment. So I'm still up by money, but I've not got fed up with the grind and stuff, because either way, at the end of that time, the end of the 2 hours, I'll still have made some money to do what I wanted to do, and I've got that goal achieved. So these are some things that you can take into account. I know that this has just been a one long sort of rant and joint together mess, and there's probably not going to be anything in the background except gameplay, but I know that some people like to just listen through to my thoughts sometimes about this sort of thing, and it's something that you can listen to while playing the game. So I just wanted to do that and explain basically where this all came from and how I go about making sure I don't get burnt out in the game or fed up with making money when it's just not going very well. Because the last 4 months, yes, I did get fed up with making money. I got incredibly fed up of it, and I didn't want to do money making. Like I used to log on, I'm like, you know, I need to make a bit of money. I'll log on, I'll just do a little bit of PVM randomly. I stopped doing that, but the reason that I kept going was because I always had something else that I wanted to do instead. And that is probably what I would suggest that you guys do to keep yourselves interested and enjoy the game, because you don't always have to follow by the same efficiency thing. You don't always have to do 1 hour of Nex because that's what you're committed to. You don't have to do 1 hour of Raksha because that's what you're committed to. You don't have to always use the same like familiar if you think maybe, oh, but what if I try out a Hellhound and the scrolls? I have no idea how they work. Let me try out for an hour. I'll still get kills. They may be slower, but you know what? I'll try something new. It's more enjoyable. Maybe I'll try using a different combat style. Maybe I will try different things to try and get my kill speeds faster, compete with yourself on kill speeds, all that sort of good stuff. But either way, I hope this video has helped motivate some of you guys. If it's helped motivate one person, then you know what? I'm happy with that. I know this is just not exactly the normal content that I would make. It's like the content that I used to make, to be fair, and I do miss the ranty sort of videos. So let me know if you guys enjoyed. If you did, then leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new around here. If you have any questions, then drop them down in the comments. And for anyone who is going to say this video added not very much value whatsoever, yes, I am aware that it is not a list video telling you guys on how you can make money. It is just my thoughts on a topic, and if you got this far, then holy crap. Let me know in the comments if you did get this far. I'll be very interested in finding out. Channel members, thank you for your extra support. Your names will be on screen now, of course. Thank you very much. I appreciate that a lot. Anyone else want to join them, you can click the join button by the sub button. But otherwise, thank you all for watching. I appreciate it, and I'll see you all in the next one. See you later, guys. Bye.